There are moments in life when the weight of the world presses down so heavily that even breathing feels like work. Moments when the night seems too long and the morning refuses to come. Moments when the storms of life shake the very foundation beneath your feet. In those moments when doubt whispers and fear shouts, there is one thing you must hold on to with everything inside of you. Keep your faith. Faith is not something you cling to only when life is easy. Faith is not something that only lives in bright days and peaceful seasons. Faith is the anchor you grip when the waves are crashing, when the sky is dark, when everything around you says you should give up. Faith is the quiet voice inside that says, keep going, even when your strength says, stop. There are people who think faith means you will never struggle. But real faith is born in the middle of struggle. Faith grows in the soil of hardship. Faith learns to stand when the winds of disappointment try to knock you down. Anyone can shout victory when the sun is shining, but it takes faith to whisper hope when everything around you looks hopeless. Some of you know what it means to pray and feel like heaven is silent. You know what it means to knock on doors that never seem to open. You know what it means to give your best and still feel like life keeps pushing you backward. But the measure of faith is not how loud you shout when things are going well. The measure of faith is whether you still believe when the answer has not yet come. Faith says the story is not over yet. Faith says that the delay is not the end. Faith says that the struggle you are in right now is not the final chapter of your life. You may be walking through a season where everything feels uncertain. Maybe you have lost something you thought you would never lose. Maybe the dream you carried in your heart has been delayed so long that it feels like it will never come to pass. Maybe you are standing in the middle of a situation that seems bigger than you, stronger than you, and more powerful than anything you can overcome. But faith does not measure the size of the problem. Faith measures the power of possibility. The truth is that some of the greatest victories in life are born in moments when everything looks impossible. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet were once standing in the darkest seasons of their lives. They were tired, they were discouraged, they were hurt, but they held on to their faith even when it felt like the only thing they had left. And sometimes that is exactly where faith begins. It begins when everything else is gone. It begins when the plans you made fall apart. It begins when the road you thought you would travel suddenly disappears beneath your feet. Faith begins when you refuse to quit even though you are wounded. Faith is often tested most when life becomes difficult. It is easy to believe when everything around you is calm, when the road is smooth, and when every door you knock on seems to open without resistance. But real faith reveals itself when the storm begins to shake the ground beneath your feet. It is in the difficult seasons of life that faith must stand the strongest. Everyone will experience moments when things do not go as planned, when dreams seem delayed, and when prayers appear unanswered. These seasons can make a person feel weak, uncertain, and discouraged, yet those very moments are where faith proves its true power. Faith in difficult seasons is not about pretending that the struggle is not real. It is about choosing to believe that the struggle does not have the final word. It is standing in the middle of hardship and saying that this challenge will not defeat you. Difficult seasons come in many forms. Sometimes it is the loss of something precious. Sometimes it is a long period of waiting when nothing seems to change. Sometimes it is facing obstacles that appear larger than your strength. In those moments, the temptation to give up can be very strong, but faith calls you to remain steady even when everything around you feels unstable. Faith says that storms may shake your life, but they do not have the power to destroy your purpose. Faith reminds you that many of the greatest victories in life are born in the darkest valleys. People often remember the success of a person, but they rarely see the difficult seasons that shaped that success. The truth is that strong faith is not built in comfort. It is built in struggle. It is strengthened when you continue to believe even though the situation looks impossible. When you refuse to surrender your hope during hard times, you are strengthening a part of yourself that will carry you through future challenges. Difficult seasons are not meant to end your journey. Sometimes they are simply preparing you for a greater destination. Faith also has the remarkable ability to see possibility where others only see problems. When people face obstacles, the natural reaction is often fear or doubt. The human mind tends to focus on what is wrong, what is missing, and what might go badly. But faith changes the way a person sees their situation. Faith does not deny that problems exist, but it refuses to believe that problems are permanent. Instead of focusing on what cannot be done, faith begins to imagine what might still be possible. This shift in perspective is powerful because it opens the door for hope to enter even the most discouraging circumstances. When someone looks at a broken situation through the eyes of doubt, they see only failure. But when someone looks at the same situation through the eyes of faith, they begin to see potential. They begin to believe that something better can still come from the difficulty they are facing. Faith helps a person look beyond the present moment and envision a future that is greater than the current struggle. Many great achievements throughout history began as ideas that seemed impossible to others. The difference between those who gave up and those who succeeded often came down to belief. Faith allows a person to imagine a better tomorrow, even while standing in the middle of today's problems. It helps a person understand that the present situation does not define the entire story. What you see right now may only be a small part of a much larger journey. Faith allows you to look past the obstacles and focus on the destination ahead. It encourages you to keep moving forward even when the results are not immediately visible. In this way, faith becomes a vision that guides your steps. It keeps your heart hopeful when the circumstances try to convince you otherwise. When you choose to see possibility instead of defeat, you create space for growth, change, and breakthrough. Faith is also strengthened through trials and pressure. Many people wish for a life without difficulties, but the reality is that challenges play an important role in shaping character and resilience. Just as physical strength grows through resistance and effort, spiritual and emotional strength often grows through hardship. Trials may feel uncomfortable, but they can develop qualities that would never emerge in an easy life. When pressure comes, it reveals what is truly inside a person. It tests their patience, their courage, and their belief. In those moments, faith is not simply an idea, it becomes an active force that keeps a person moving forward. Pressure can either break someone or build them. The difference often lies in how they respond to the challenge. When a person holds on to faith during difficult trials, they begin to discover a deeper strength within themselves. They learn endurance. They learn perseverance. They learn that they are capable of overcoming more than they once believed. Many of the most inspiring stories of human achievement come from people who faced great adversity but refused to surrender their faith. Their trials became the training ground for their future success. Instead of allowing pressure to defeat them, they allowed it to shape them into stronger individuals. Faith during trials does not mean that the pain disappears or that the struggle becomes easy. It means that even in the middle of discomfort, a person continues to trust that the challenge has purpose. Over time, The very difficulties that once seem unbearable can become the experiences that strengthen a person's character the most. Through trials, faith grows deeper roots. Those roots make it possible for a person to stand firm even when life brings new storms. Another important aspect of faith is the ability to resist the voice of doubt. Doubt is something every person encounters at some point. It can appear in many forms: fear, insecurity, criticism from others, or even negative thoughts within your own mind. Doubt often tries to convince people that their dreams are unrealistic, that their efforts are meaningless, or that failure is inevitable. If someone listens to these voices long enough, they may begin to believe them. This is why protecting faith from doubt is so important. Faith requires the courage to believe in something greater even when doubt is present. It means refusing to allow negative voices to control your outlook on life. People who accomplish meaningful things often face criticism and skepticism along the way. Others may question their abilities or challenge their vision. But those who keep their faith learn to focus on the purpose that drives them rather than the doubts that surround them. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing not to let fear dictate your decisions. When doubt begins to whisper that something cannot be done, faith responds by saying that possibilities still exist. Learning to silence the voice of doubt requires discipline. It involves choosing what influences you will listen to and which ones you will reject. Encouraging words, supportive relationships, and positive thinking can strengthen faith, while constant negativity can weaken it. By filling your mind with hope rather than fear, you create an environment where faith can grow stronger. Over time, the voice of faith can become louder than the voice of doubt. When that happens, a person begins to approach life with greater confidence and determination. Faith also gives people the strength to keep moving forward even when the path ahead is unclear. Life rarely provides complete certainty about what will happen next. Many journeys involve moments of confusion, unexpected turns, and unanswered questions. In those moments, it can be tempting to stop moving altogether. But faith encourages a person to take the next step even without having all the answers. Moving forward without full clarity requires trust. It requires believing that progress is still possible even if the entire plan is not visible. Often, people discover the direction of their lives gradually, step by step. If they wait until everything becomes perfectly clear, they may never begin the journey at all. Faith helps people act with courage in the face of uncertainty. It allows them to move beyond fear of the unknown and continue pursuing their goals. Sometimes the simple act of taking one step forward can reveal opportunities that were not visible before. Progress often brings clarity that waiting cannot provide. By trusting the journey, a person begins to develop confidence in their ability to adapt and overcome challenges. This forward movement can also inspire others. When someone continues to pursue their path despite uncertainty, they demonstrate resilience and determination. Their example shows that it is possible to move ahead even when the destination is not fully defined. Faith becomes the light that guides them through unfamiliar territory. Instead of being paralyzed by uncertainty, they choose to explore the possibilities that lie ahead. Finally, faith teaches the importance of persistence until the breakthrough arrives. Many goals in life require patience and long-term commitment. Success rarely happens instantly. It often develops gradually through consistent effort and unwavering belief. During this process, there may be moments when progress seems slow or invisible. Those moments can test a person's determination. Without faith, it would be easy to give up before the breakthrough occurs. But faith encourages perseverance. It reminds people that results often appear after long periods of preparation and hard work. Breakthroughs frequently happen at the moment when someone decides not to quit. By holding on through the difficult stages, they position themselves to experience the rewards that persistence can bring. Patience and faith work together in this process. Faith keeps hope alive, while patience allows time for growth and change to take place. Together they form a powerful combination that can carry a person through even the most challenging journeys. When someone refuses to abandon their belief that they create the possibility for transformation, eventually the moment may arrive when everything begins to shift. The breakthrough that once seemed distant becomes reality. At that point, the struggles and delays that once felt discouraging can be seen in a new light. They were not barriers, but stepping stones leading to something greater. Faith that endures through every stage of the journey ultimately becomes the force that turns hope into achievement. As we come to the end of this message, remember that faith is not just a word we speak, it is a way we live. It is the strength that lifts us when life pushes us down. It is the light that guides us when the road ahead seems dark. Every challenge you face, every delay you experience, and every moment of uncertainty you endure is an opportunity for your faith to grow stronger. There will always be voices that try to fill your mind with doubt. There will always be storms that attempt to shake your confidence. But storms do not last forever, and doubt does not have the final say. What truly matters is the decision you make when life becomes difficult. You can choose fear or you can choose faith. You can choose to give up or you can choose to keep believing. Faith reminds us that the story is not finished yet. What looks like an ending today may only be the beginning of something greater tomorrow. The trials you face are not meant to stop you. They are shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for the breakthroughs ahead. So hold on to your faith even when the answers are delayed. Keep believing even when the path is unclear. Keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. Because one day you will look back and realize that the very moments that tested your faith were the same moments that built your strength. Stand firm, stay hopeful, and never let go of what you believe, no matter what comes your way. No matter how long the journey becomes, remember this simple truth: if you keep your faith, you will find the strength to rise, the courage to continue, and the power to overcome.